Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Now this time, I've watched a movie, another shark movie. It came out in the early 2000s. It's called Deep Blue Sea. And this one also has some nostalgia for me, as I watched it a lot when I was young, because I loved sharks. I loved shark movies when I was young, and still do to this day. So I did watch this one a lot. And it's not to be taken too serious. Like it's very cheesy, of course. Like it's very fun. It's just meant to be fun. It's there's a lot of corny parts, a lot of cheesy parts, just a lot of stupid parts in that. But it's actually a really good movie. Like it's actually a really fun and entertaining movie. And the sharks actually are really cool looking. Like I like how it's creative that they used mako sharks instead of the traditional great white, which is almost always what's used, or just like a lot of mainstream sharks like bull sharks and tiger sharks. Well, there was a tiger shark in the movie, but a lot of the most popular sharks that are used for movies are not the mako shark. And so I thought it was a creative decision to go with the mako on this movie, and they look really, really cool. And I watched some behind the scenes, like some special features on this movie too. And it was actually a really cool production behind making this movie. They actually went on location in all the actors, at least Thomas Jane did anyway, but several of the actors actually went into the water with real sharks and got real footage and photographed real sharks, and even the director and everything, like everybody went into the water and got real shots of real sharks in the wild and incorporated that, spliced that into their CGI to make things look more frightening and stuff like that, right? So I think that's really cool. I mean, no matter how cheesy the movie is, or things like that, or like so bad it's good kind of a thing that you try and place on these kinds of movies, when the crew actually gets right in open water, swimming with sharks to get footage, then to attain some of the footage that they have in the movie, then that's like, I give major thumbs up, major props to that, big time. And yeah, like the thrills, like it was actually, like, they did a really good job at making some things really creepy. Like they did a lot of shots where there was a lot of like, not full body water, like people in the, like fully swimming in the water. There was a lot of like shots that just had people like up to their waist or up to their stomach or even a little bit lower, and you could sense the shark was around. And the score was really nice too. They had a really good score that made everything sound spooky when, like I said, like whenever somebody was kind of walking waist high in the water, it was always like spooky, like where's the shark coming? And yeah, no, like it's a really, really good movie in that way. Like it's definitely one is not bored watching it. One is very entertained. Actually, the part that I don't like, the part that I don't like the most is actually the ending sequence. I think it gets the most over the top and just the most kind of stupid near the end, at like the final sequence, is just kind of when it starts to meander for me. Oh yes, and another thing is I don't know a lot about the stunt work in that. Or I mean, I know Thomas Jane is actually a good actor in action, usually in action movies and things like that. So I didn't look into like a huge and heavily into the stunt work behind it. But whoever taught him, or whether he knows on his own, the way that his character in this movie, the shark wrangler guy, the way he handles water, like not just like swimming and that, like that's like whatever, like that's a pretty standard thing to learn, but just like when something's happening, like when a big draft of water, like when a big wave of water comes and just knocks him over, or when he's like, or like when all of a sudden just like this area is and gets flooded, just like not even necessarily the survival techniques that he uses, but just like the way that he reacts to water is like actually really accurate to, like if you swim a lot or spend a lot of time in the water, like when certain things happen, there's just like certain ways that you, like there's just certain ways that you move yourself and just certain things that you do, and that was very, very accurate, I will say, on like a stunt, physical acting kind of a standpoint, right? And yeah, no, I'm trying to think of, oh yes, and the rapper LL Cool J is in this movie, and I will say, the best chef performance I've ever seen in a movie. I mean, there's probably some more like artistically crafted, movies about the culinary world, like about cooking and that, where an actor that portrays somebody as like, more like 100% accurate to the industry and accurate to the way of life and everything, and like puts a really heartfelt performance into that kind of a thing. But just as far as just like having charisma, and just every time the guy was handling food, I was like, fuck, that looks good, I want to eat that. Like I don't know the training behind any of this. Like, I don't know if it was just standard actors just doing what they do when they go in a movie, or if any of these people have any backgrounds in this stuff. I didn't research that far, but whatever people were doing, they did a good job at. Like, he did a really good job. Like I said, the best just like charismatic chef performance ever. Like, every time the guy was handling food or pouring a drink or even just moving around the kitchen, I was like, fuck, like I want this guy working in my kitchen, kind of a thing, right? So I like that part of it, and it's cool too. I mean, the song isn't, it's not, well, I shouldn't say it's not the greatest, but it's not my genre of music. It's not what I like the most, but it's cool how, he acted in the movie, and then he also did the soundtrack for the end credits, and it's like a rap song about sharks. I thought that's creative too, and that's cool, and that's different and unique and everything, right? So that's awesome. So grading the movie, again, I'll give it a high grade. And a lot of it, like, it is pretty good quality, but a lot of it probably is, again, as I clear up lots in this channel, is probably my own nostalgia and my own history with the movie, and again, the kind of filmmaking and everything, right? Maybe I'll give this guy a B. I will give this one a B. Yeah. I think that's suitable. Alright. Thank you very much for watching, everybody.